His joy and peace, His happiness. He has given us a sound. Amen, amen, and amen again. Never should I be afraid. Church was great. My pastor talked about the book of Jonah. If you don't know, Jonah was called to do something by God, and Jonah didn't feel as though the people, well, it was told to minister to people and spread the gospel, but Jonah was being selfish and rebellious and ran away from his calling that God had over his life, and instead he wanted to flee. So in the process of him fleeing, when boy was just kicking it, being complacent in where he was in life, and God shook up that ship. They cast my boy Jonah out. Say, throw me out to the water. Cast my boy out into them that good old water. And that God had grace and mercy on Jonah's life. And he sent that fish to swallow him up. He swallowed him up. And during that time, Jonah had to come to realization that you can't run away from God. Whatever calling God got for you, yeah, you gonna get shook up. You gonna rock the boat a million times, and you gonna get God's grace is still sufficient. And He love and care for you, so He gonna protect you. But at the same time, when you not being obedient to what God is calling you to do, you gonna have them struggles, them fights, or whatever. But it's merely just to call you back to what you were destined to do and who you were destined to be. And like my pastor says, sometimes in life we got them Jonah spirits where we want to be rebellious. We wanna and he touched on the last point, be in a resentful state to where we like, oh God, well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Like he said, my pastor said Jonah was pouting. Amen. Jonah was a grown man pouting. That joke was too funny today in church, and didn't want to do what God told him to do. Just like, again, when I think of, you have to think about God and Jesus in that light as the Father. Well, think about your parents, your actual physical parents. At one point, until you got to a certain age, and still up until a certain point, you be rebellious against your parents. You don't listen. You don't want to listen to them. You don't want to hear them out. But you have to be obedient to what your parents do, because half of the time when they, just like God, Jesus, when he call you to do something, it's merely for some parents, it's for your safety, for your protection. And then when you don't do it, what happened? When you go and rebel against your parents, what happened? You find out later on, dang, I should listen to my parent. At least I know I did. Dang, I should listen to my parent. My parent was right. They said this is gonna happen. And sometimes y'all gotta realize that, and well, in the Bible it says honor thy mother and thy father. So they got a calling already on their life already as parents. And then their calling is to minister and, like I said, protect y'all from not essentially the world, but the things that happen of the world, because we born into sin. So that's why they say ain't nothing new up under the sun or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, Jonah was really rebellious. He was running from God's calling. You can't run from God calling. Whatever calling God on your life, it's best for you to lean into it. Lean into not on your own understanding, but God's understanding. So yeah, y'all, that was the word of the day. I love the book of Jonah, and I love the fact that he touched on the book of Jonah, because people really be sleeping on the book of Jonah. No shade, they always be talking about Job, which, hey, I can't fault them, because Job is a great book. Job is an excellent book. Because Job was a faithful servant of God, and God allowed tests with Job, boy. I don't think y'all really could do it if y'all was in Job's position. Heck, I can't say that, because I feel like, but yeah, Job was tested. Job had everything taken away from him, and God gave it back to him 3 times fold. And man, so Job was faithful. He was faithful. My dog is trying to bust through the door. My boy trying to bust through the door. Hello, Gabriel. I wish I would move. Y'all, I'm about to fall over y'all. Y'all about to make me fall. You can.